Hi everyone, welcome to our Tuesdays Facebook Live. Really glad that we can be again together today. And today, in honor of the Jewish New Year that starts tomorrow, we're going to talk about starting over and forgiveness. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tova Gar, and I'm an expert in helping parents and teens navigate the teen years successfully without conflict, and really learning to listen, helping parents learn and to listen and support their teens, and helping teens navigate all the challenges of what it means to be a teen today, which is just so much more complicated than it was when we were teens, thanks in no small part to the device that I'm speaking through right now. So I try to help them do that, and one of the things that I specialize in is really helping parents understand this world that their teens are living in when it comes to social media and how it affects their lives. So feel free to check me out at tovagar.com. You can learn more about what I do. And if you came to this video, if you're watching this on the replay, so I'm happy to see you. Feel free to add some hearts and likes and just let us know that you're there. I do come back. I do answer questions and take a look. So I'm glad that you found your way here. If you did, it must be because you need to be here. I truly believe that the right things appear in our lives at the right time. So we're going to start talking about, as I was saying, about starting over and forgiveness. You know, there are certain times in the year when we feel like it's a good time for us to do this. And in the Jewish faith, this is a good time for doing this. This is the time of year when we reflect on the year that we had, we reflect on who we want to be in the next year. And what that does is it really allows us to, hey, somebody join us. Feel free to give me a heart or a like. I'd love to hear who you are, see who you are. Makes me feel a little less lonely on this technology. Back to what I was talking about, which is, this is a time of year for us to really think about what that means. And it's one of those times where, we think back and say, well, are we starting over? When we say we're going to start over, are we really doing it successfully, or are we actually reenacting the same story over and over again? And it's not that we don't mean it, that we want to start over. It doesn't mean that we don't want to start fresh, but somehow we find ourselves sometimes in that loop. I know that when I was a teenager, I actually like to share a story when I was a teenager, because when I was a teenager, for those who are following me know that I call myself a recovering perfectionist, because I spent my teen years trying really, really hard to be perfect. It was really important for me to try and be perfect, to do things right. And by the way, the right wasn't from within necessarily what I thought was right, but what I thought other people thought I should be doing or should be right. And what I used to do, I remember this very clearly. I remember myself as a teenager, I would spend my time in the shower and I would kind of dissect my what had happened that day. I would literally go through everything that I had gone through that day. And I would ask myself, did I do it well? Could I have done it differently? Well, if I had said that, then maybe the reaction would have been different. Or had I taken this action, maybe I wouldn't be in the mess that I'm in right now. Right? Had I spoken up for myself, maybe, I wouldn't have been left out of something I wanted to be left out at. I really looked at every single interaction I had during the day, and I apologize to my mother for all the water that I used over those years, and really looking myself up. But what was the challenge, right? What was the problem with this? And by the way, if this sounds familiar to you, or if you have your own version of the story, just, feel free to either share in the comments or give me a like or a heart and just let me know that I wasn't the only one who's doing things like that. Maybe you still are today, or your daughter is doing this right now as we're speaking. Is that what I was doing in this process is I was basically beating myself up. That's what I was doing. I was beating myself up. I wasn't actually helping myself say, well, how am I going to do it differently next time? Because I didn't spend enough time. I had this conversation in my head of how am I going to do it next time, but I never actually followed up once I got out of the shower to take the steps to do it differently next time. So essentially I was recreating the same scenarios over and over again, but just feeling really, really bad about them, right? And that never helps. Just recently I was talking to one of my VIP clients and we were talking about her behavior in the context of what was going on with her daughter, and some things that she could tweak moving forward. And her comment was, I'm not going to beat myself up over this. And I said, please don't, because that's not helpful, right? Beating yourself up isn't actually helpful. That's not what's going to make it be different next time. Look at your behavior and say, look at your choices, look at what you said and how you reacted, and say, okay, if I had to do it again, and I'm gonna have to do it again, how am I gonna do it differently, right? How am I gonna speak differently? How am I going to engage differently? And then take those steps, take that action, because that's what really makes a difference. Not beating ourselves up, because let's be honest, most of us are really quite good at it. We're quite good at beating ourselves up. And that isn't really, it isn't really helpful, right? And what I want to help you figure out today and start thinking about is, how do you start over, right? How do you make things different? And I'd like to share with you what I did with one of my VIP clients. My VIP clients are clients that work with me privately, and we work really consistently throughout the year, not just during sessions, but in between as well, because that's how life works out. And one of my VIP clients that I was working with was really challenged with this, because she was getting trouble online. It's something that happens to a lot of teens. Most of them are probably doing things that you're not even aware with online. She had the misfortune, or the fortune, depending on how you perceive it, as being caught. She was caught texting inappropriately with a boy, and that's how we ended up working together. And in our work together, she kept saying, well, I want to do differently, I want to change, I'm going to do better next time. More than anything, not necessarily saying this to me, but saying this to her mother, that really she was going to do better next time. And yet she kept repeating the same mistake over and over, right? It wasn't necessarily, well, sometimes it was in text, sometimes it was sending an inappropriate picture. It kept showing up in different kinds of ways, right? But around the same area, she kept making the same mistakes. And the question we were facing is, so when are we going to stop this cycle? When are we going to stop saying, well, I want it to be different, but I keep making the same mistake? And the first step that we had to take was actually to ask and say, well, why is she actually doing what she's doing? And this wasn't always an easy question for her to answer. And she needed to really look inward and say, when I am taking these actions, when I'm sending this text, when I'm sending or asking for this picture, what's really going on inside? What is really the real story, the one that I'm not telling anybody? And when she was able to identify the insecurity and the hurt that came with those choices, then I had to help her forgive herself. That's the first step. The first step is actually forgiving yourself for the mistake that you've made. Because if you don't forgive yourself, then what you do is that you keep beating yourself up over the head for the mistake that you've made. And our mistakes are in the past. They're always in the past, right? There's nothing we can do anymore. That choice has already been made. And so in order to choose better, the first thing that we need to do is figure out what it's really about, and then allow ourselves to actually forgive ourselves for the mistake that we've made, and the hurt that we may have caused to ourselves and to people around us. Once we were able to do that, the next step was saying, well, okay, so we know this isn't the first, the second, the third, or the fifth time that you've done this, so how are we going to make sure that it doesn't happen again? So how do we address, first of all, those internal things that are going on right now, those internal issues, because they're the ones who are causing, right, this repeated behavior. And it's not because she wanted to disobey, and it's not because she was intentionally trying to piss off her parents, and it's none of that is really the actual source of the bad choices that she was making online. It really came from a deep sense of insecurity and a deep sense that she will be left alone if she doesn't make these choices, and if she doesn't even initiate them, right? It just she wasn't following, she was actually initiating a lot of what was going on. And through that process, we were really able to bring her to a place where she was able to break the pattern and make new choices and do things in a new way. And now I'm not going to lie to you, this is not a short process. This does not happen in 3 or 4 sessions and we're done and we move on and life is great. Because as you probably know about yourself, and feel free to again, give me a heart or a like, or let me know if this is something that you can identify with and is something that has happened to you as well, is that when you're going through something, right, and you're making choices that aren't necessarily good choices for you, you're usually not thinking about other other people. You're not thinking about the consequences of your actions. So if you're thinking about your daughter and what's going on with her right now, know that even though sometimes it might feel like a personal attack on you, the choice that the mistakes that she keeps repeating over and over again and keeps apologizing for and promising she's not going to do again, it actually most of the time does not have anything to do with you. Okay, it has to do with what's going on with her internally. And so you want to be able to support her. And if you're the one who's making those mistakes, right? Maybe you're making those mistakes in your relationship with your daughter, where you keep saying, I'm going to show up differently. I'm not going to yell at her this time, right? No matter what she triggers in me, I'm not going to yell at her, right? Maybe because I already know that it's not actually about her. And maybe I just don't want to be that parent that yells. Take a deep breath, forgive yourself, figure out what it's about, bring healing to it, and then allow yourself to move forward, right? Or ask for help from somebody like me to help you be the person that you want to be, right? Get help for your daughter so she can be the person that she really wants to be. Trust me, she doesn't want to disappoint you. It doesn't feel good. It just doesn't. There's no scenario where that actually does feel really good for a kid. So I want you to think for yourself for a moment right now. Is there a place where this was true for you too? Is there a place in your life right now where this is true? Maybe it's true for you. Maybe it's true for your daughter. And what are you ready for? Do you want to be stuck in that repeating cycle, right? Do you want to be me in that shower every night, replaying the day, replaying the mistakes, and not being able to move forward from them? Or do you want your life to be different, right? Do you want your daughter to be able to make a mistake? Because it's inevitable. I hate to break it to you. She's going to make mistakes no matter how great a kid she is, no matter how good a job you did, she's going to make mistakes, and they're going to happen when she's a teen, and she's going to make lots of them. It's the right time for her to do so. But do you want her to learn from them and move forward, or do you want to see her stuck in that cycle? How can you help her get out of that and start fresh? And the start fresh, you know, what I love about the new year is it gives us an opportunity. It's kind of a force stop of like, think about this and think about how you're going to be showing up next year. But that can be every day, right? These holidays or these events are great to push us forward, but they're also, every day is a new start. So all you have to do is decide that this is something that you're ready to do and that you want to do. So if this resonated with you today, if this is something that speaks to you, that you're ready to take action, you're ready to no longer just sit on the lines or say, well, I'm going to try doing the same thing I've been doing again, but you're ready to do things differently. You're ready to create a new difference in your family. I do have a couple of spots available in my VIP program, and if this is something that you're ready to do the work, if you're not ready to do the work, then don't bother being in touch. I like working with people who are ready to do the work because I want your life to be different. Then feel free to just private message me, and we can talk about it, and we can see if you're a right fit and if this would be a right choice for you and for your daughter. Either way, I hope that you are able to take from this today and think about where are the places in your life and where are the places in your daughter's life where you're ready to start over differently, to bring forgiveness and to move on, being the person and being the version of the person that you really want to be. So if this resonated with you today and you feel like you gained for it, I'd appreciate it if you shared it with other people who you think might benefit from this video. You can always come over to my website at tovagar.com. If you haven't yet, you should take my quiz and my free training, my free three-part training on how to strengthen your relationship with your daughter. It's available there for free. And if you have, again, any questions, feel free to comment or to reach out to me privately. I'm more than happy to help. In the meantime, I'd like to wish all those who are celebrating the new Jewish New Year starting tomorrow, have a great Shana Tova and Happy New Year. And may this new year be full of beautiful connection, love, happiness, and everything that you want for yourself and for your daughter. I look forward to connecting with you soon and see you again next Tuesday. Bye.